Boom. We are live, baby, live. Sorry, my internet always circles right there. right as we're rolling in. So, well, welcome to Pub Sports Radio, NCAA Net Profit. It is Thursday, March 31st, Max, and we have NIT championship game at MSG, and we got the Final Four coming up this weekend of some big name teams, blue bloods that we will definitely touch on. Maybe we'll touch on a little bit today, but tomorrow definitely, as we will have a game tomorrow with Coastal and Fresno State getting pushed back. But we will have another one tomorrow, and we can really dive deep, I think, into the Final Four tomorrow if you'd like. But I'd love to get to this game today. The show is going to be a quick one. We thought we'd have two today, but we only get one. But we're at the end of the year here. How you feeling, my guy, on this Thursday? How's it going? How's it hanging?
Well,
What's going on?
I'm feeling all right. I narrowly avoided eating a bagel that had mold on it, so I was very happy that I
Mm.
did not eat that. And you know what? The amount of fluid extractions that I have received recently have been more than I had been receiving throughout the season. So I'm quite happy to be expelling all that fluid back up and really supporting the ladies of the night the best way that I can is with my money.
Yeah, my fluids have just been sweated out, extracted for me with all the sickness I've been going through. But it just comes and goes, and I'm getting the end of the cough and crap. It seems like out of me. I'm a little congested and the chills. I think I'm hopefully on the ass end of it, the back end of it here, Max. Maybe today.
Absolutely.
Hopefully is the last day. We will see though, but hasn't been too bad. But definitely crazy symptoms. We will get to the chat as there isn't too many people in here. Short game today. But all right, Max, let's get right into this one. Big game tonight. Xavier, Texas A&M. 4.5. Now we've seen fives. There were some fours this morning. This total opened at 138. It is 137 and a half. Man, what a good one. Both two teams, a Xavier team that struggled down the stretch. Obviously, Scruggs is out, but they seem to pick it up. You know, they're playing a six-man rotation here with interim coach Hayes there, and it seems to be working. You know, beating Florida, Vandy, and your St. Bonaventure team. And I think just got down too early there. You know, they had a huge second half, and then both teams could have missed second half. Holy shit, that it definitely killed my under. This Texas A&M team, Max, has been rolling. Especially for you. I didn't end up playing them or the under last game, but I didn't play on them, and I had been on them a lot of this run that they've been on. But I'll get it back to me. I think A&M can take care of business. It's just if you want to lay the 5 tonight, I think they do it because they have the better defense. But let me throw it to you. Tell me what you like in this one, brother.
Well, from a personnel standpoint, Connor, it's really hard not to be impressed with the growth and development we've seen from this trio of guards in Quentin Jackson, Tyrese Radford, and Wade Taylor. I think that while they don't give you that elite 3-point shooting, they're all very good on ball defenders. They can play
Yes.
with fouls and they stay on the floor. That's the big thing for me. Now, they're very good free throw shooters, so that definitely aids them when they are aggressive and not settling for those outside jump shots. But I think the X factor tonight is the fact that Texas A&M can go so much deeper into their roster,
I
and they
agree.
have Henry Coleman, who has been very formidable. I think that's the big difference for me tonight. But when I watched Xavier basically take apart and pick apart my Bonnies, what I was seeing was a two-man game from Jack Nungy and Adam Kunkel that the Bonnies just could not stop. You
Yeah.
could get your hand into Kunkel's face, but he was still draining all those shots. And let's be brutally honest, this is a guy that's looking for a shot. And with Nate Johnson and his 3-point shooting, he gets off. That's really what did my Bonnies in. Now, Connor, I think that with Xavier tonight, I got to be looking at them. I got to be looking at them. It's a championship game. I think they can win this game with that 1-2 freaking with that 2-man game that I just mentioned. Now, obviously, you're going to need a team effort. You're going to need good ball security, and you're going to need to do a good
Mhm.
job of forcing Texas A&M to have to score to beat you. Because if you get into a bogged down game, which is what Texas A&M's done over this 5-game winning streak, all games that have stayed under
Yeah.
numbers in this range, it is difficult. So I want to take the dog in a championship game. It allows me arbitraging ability if Xavier gets up, but it's real tough on the total because
Yeah,
Texas
I agree.
A&M wins, it stays under.
I think so too. The big thing I was looking at all day was Xavier's defense. They just, and especially, they had the horrible losing streak, obviously some injuries, but most of their games as of late, and I think it's like, the last 11, 9 of them have gone over. So this total a little light for them. But you talked about A&M. As you know, I was going through it. They were like 70th scoring defense, but I couldn't get over that 13th turnover margin in the country. Really good. And looking at last game, that's what they did against Washington State. They forced a ton of turnovers with them, 17. They only had 8 because they shot the ball. Both these teams shoot 32% from 3, and they went 2 of 14. I mean, they won 72-56 and they went 2 of 14. They've got 50 something points in the paint. And that's where I think they can work. I know Nunge's down there, but other than that, I think they're going to have free reign, these guards, like you talked about, with Jackson and Radford to do their thing. Coleman, I think they'll be able to get what they want. The big key I thought with Xavier is they're turning the ball over, which I think A&M is going to pressure them a little bit. And you mentioned Kunkel had a huge game, but Kobe Jones was solid. And obviously, I don't think Zach Freemantle has 18 points. If he does, Xavier, you're right, covers and maybe wins this game. That was the best because they're only going about 6 deep, like I talked about. And he had 18 off the bench. A couple guys played a few minutes. Edwards played 5, I'm looking up, or Hunter played 10. That's about it. Everyone else, and that's really just taking out Odom. I think A&M's a little deeper. It's just, I think the line's, it's right here. And it's, right. I wish it was, 2.5, 3, but it's not. It's 4.5, 5. But I think the Aggies get it done, and it's their defense that wins it. But I know where you're getting at because I'm a guy who wants points in a championship game. I don't blame you. That's why I just am not pulled the trigger on this. Crazy,
I
but
think
this.
so,
Yeah, go ahead.
sorry, I think that the safest way to play it is to hit the first half under if you're liking an under. Because you're not going to get any of that extended game situational play. You're not going to get fouling, and no one's the team that's losing in the second half tonight is not going to give it up, even if they're down 8 or 9. So I do think we're going to get that elevated scoring. So when you're live betting this game and you see that total and you're like, oh, you're doing your math, you're like, okay, well, fuck, like this point per possession and point per minute is definitely saying this game's going to stay under. Chances are it will get pushed over with some free throw shooting. So something to be aware of.
That's what I was thinking too with this number. Where it was at full game at least. You mentioned it. A couple things I wanted to touch on. I just think, yeah, Xavier. Obviously, it hasn't mattered, Max. What do you think with Scruggs out? Do you think they think better with him gone, or they're just kind of gotten hot here at the NIT because they really struggled going 2-9 or whatever in that bad stretch?
Well,
Johnson was out for a little bit. Go ahead.
I think that it actually it helps them to play looser, play a little faster, play a little more tempo because that's what suits them. They have 2 running big men that can get up and down the floor. With Zach Freemantle playing his best basketball of the season,
Yeah.
he's liable to go off, and that's why I think that even if they want to slow it down, you could really throw it down to Fremantle because he's shown an ability to work with his back to the basket. And with him shooting the 3, even in only like 5 games in like a playoff situation, he's hitting enough of those to make and stretch that defense out. I think Kunkel's the key. him and Nate Johnson. I just think that with their perimeter shooting, they're going to make or break this effort tonight. If they don't hit shots, then they lose. If they shoot that average that we've seen from them over the last handful of games, they lose. I just think in a championship game, especially with live betting being what I want to do,
that's where I'm going to be, yeah.
Take the dog and then arbitrage it.
Yeah, this is a live game to me here too. Bets from me. I want to see this live. And maybe you can, if Xavier goes up, I can get A&M at a better number than this because I think they're the better team. I want the better defense, and A&M's done nothing but win. Max, coming down the stretch. I talked about it. I think you agreed with me. This team should have been in the tournament. I know they kind of were tired there, maybe a little bit, and they lost to Tennessee, which was a good defense. Obviously, Tennessee failed as they get into the tournament. Like I always bury Rick Barnes, but they were very good defensively. But this is a team that's played well before that, and then now the NIT cruised through these first 4 games. I think they want to finish it off because I think they were a little bit better than a few teams, maybe gripes like Rutgers, Wyoming, maybe some of those other teams saying, hey, I think we were a little bit better, and especially in some of the maybe the Ken Palm and net numbers that A&M was a bit better. And I think they are here. And I think it's the guard play for that. They don't shoot it that great, but they get there, Max. They get to the line, they get to the teeth of the defense, and they score. I mean, to talk about Washington State, they have such big, tall players. That's what everyone, that these big guys, that didn't matter. They out-rebounded them, out-hustled them, and just took care of business, especially second half in that ball game. So I think they do more of that here. And you mentioned it, Xavier's huge. Fremantle, if that guy's scoring 18 points off the bench and stuff like that, then Xavier not only cover, they have a good chance to win this. And you're right, championship game, it's tight. This is a pretty big number here. 5 laying on a neutral floor now. Most spots still there's some 4.5s. But yeah, I think this one should be a good one. But I think if you like A&M, I know you got to lay a number. I like Buzz Williams. I'm not like crazy, but I think he's a solid coach. 10-1 ATS the last 10. I think if you like them, you roll them. If not, take the dog here. If you think Xavier's been rolling. I talked about it. I'll hit this lastly. We'll hit maybe some props. I looked at them earlier this morning because I think the 2 guys will get there, the best 2 players. But let's hit the chat real quick before, obviously, we'll get out of here shortly. Eric, thanks for joining us. Marshall Hoffman, shout out. G. Martinez up in here. Okie, what's up, my guy? Rodney Barton, great to see you. Preston in the house, my guy P. What up? Jay Peasy up in here. Shout out to my guy Jay Peasy. He says I'm on the Aggies. Recency bias in my head. Hey, they won by double digits all these games. I know the first few were at home, but yeah, Nasty Nate. Shout out to my guy, great guy, Nasty Nate. Kicking it in San Antonio. Shout out to my guy, Nasty Nate. I hope he's feeling well too. I know he was a little bit under the weather. Nilo up in here. Bill McHugh. Polly Walnuts. What's up?
Sorry. Nilo, Portuguese stew, fish sandwich. Eat some red meat, you son of a bitch. Sell some fucking houses too.
Eat some red meat and sell the houses. I'm sure he is driving and listening. Nilo's probably hustling around, selling away. Get that money, Nilo. Sell them houses around Toronto. Does he do it basically around Toronto? Hit me up, Nilo.
Is he? Yeah, he's a Mississauga, Etobicoke guy, but I think that he'll sell a house anywhere he can get a listing for.
Yeah, I was about to shout out, no doubt, for sure. T-Mac, Trey Day, what's up, my guy? Shout out to Trey. Yeah, Texas A&M, it's hard for me to not look. I know this is a championship game. I usually would look at the points here and everything. It's just, I think the number's right, but I want the better defense.
I'll tell you, Connor, ever since I found out that Jasmine Crockett, a progressive liberal in the state of Texas, was an Aggie fan, I was like, no fucking way. I'm fucking taking goddamn other side.
Well, you heard it. Max looked that up, and that's why he's on the other side. Well, one of the reasons. I can't say that's all of them. One of the reasons. D-Mac, what's going on, my man? Yeah, I wanted to get to it because in a standalone game like this, Max, I think you can look at other stuff. Like I'm going to bet this live. I thought the player props. I mean, if you like Nunji, 14, it was plus 110 this morning, and Jackson over 15. Both these guys that about their averages, but have been getting over that lately. To get here. So if you like one of these sides, I mean, I think both guys could get there, but you're getting good plus money plus 110 for both those guys. Coleman was over 11 and a half. His was right there too. I saw plus 110 and a plus 105. I thought it was a decent number. And you could look up some other ones, but I just looked up the major guys there. But if you could get even deeper, obviously in some of these books, you get some of these guys even more. Like I said, in a game like this. Yeah.
My one issue with taking Xavier player props overs is just their free throw shooting.
Yeah, both teams not great.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that you're doing better if you take Quentin Jackson because at least he's like an almost 80% free throw shooter. But when you look at Kunkel, you're like, how the fuck is he so bad from the free throw line? But he really is.
I know. He is. You're right. Even though both teams 70%, Jackson one of the better free throws. Me too. I'd go Jackson. But if you like Nunji, because I think he's got to be the guy. He's got to have over 15. Xavier's in this one, right? Don't you think? I mean, so I just think that's a good look for him over 14 points tonight with the props. I think both guys are solid. Yeah.
Sorry, I think that the real key for Nunji is just being on the floor, being able to play on the floor with Fremantle. That's been the one thing that it's eluded both of them is being able to be consistent and effective together. If you could have them both on the floor, it just gives a real tough freaking thing for you to adjust and adapt to in game.
Yeah. And we're going to see, like our guy T-Mac, better team, better competition. I agree. And they're the better defense in the end. So that's why I think A&M wins. I just don't think you're getting a bargain on the price. Obviously, they've beaten teams by double digits. This one should be a little tougher. I mean, championship game, Max, everything ratchets is up. You know how it goes.
It's all about the start to get off to.
True. And Xavier's done well. I mean, teams that might have been, I know Bonaventure wanted to play. They just got off to that horrible start. But Vandy was beating them. And they came back and beat him in that game. I watched it. Vandy was winning there with like 7 minutes left. And Xavier came back and won. They took care of Florida. But A&M has just been the money. So I know if you like them, and I'd say stick with it.
It feels like the Long Beach situation, Connor, where we just rode Long Beach that game too long, and then they got smoked.
Yeah, you could be right. You could be right, and that's why I can't take A&M. I'm in a live bet at this one. Yeah, I can't give it out here at 4.5.
You got to see how freaking Texas A&M is going to lock down defensively.
Exactly, that's what I want to see.
Them early, it's going to be a dogfight.
That's what I want to see. I think because they have the better defense. Xavier, like 177th in the country defensively, and I've seen them all year. I don't think they're very good defensively. Very pedestrian average. I think A&M takes care of that. They get it done. But both teams can get cold shooting from the floor, so we shall see. It should be a good one. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Let's throw out what you guys are playing in the chat. Hit us up with that real quick before we get out of here. Paulie Walnuts wants to know Xavier team total over 66, Max.
I'm not playing any team totals in this game. No, I'm not playing any team totals in this game.
I don't think so either. They might get there. I think A&M in this Xavier defense gets in the 70s here tonight. I just think they find a way. I think their guard play is good enough. But we'll see with the bright lights at MSG here for this NIT championship. Should be tight. James Little, what's going on, my man? Good to see you. Should I take Texas A&M first half? He's asking the chat. That's on you, my man.
I think that's the best way to play it with the number at what it is, because then you get a good time to evaluate how the game's going. Is Texas A&M hitting open shots, contested shots? Are they freaking just beating the defense? Like we saw the Bonnies just missing all these back cuts that Xavier was running, and they were at the fucking rim, and the passing on the interior was good. So I think that watching the first half and taking Texas A&M first half is the better way to play it than taking them full game at 4.5 or 5.
Yeah, it's if you want to do that. A&M a little slow last game, first half. Xavier came out red hot, against St. Bonaventure, but this is a whole different game. So, yeah, I've seen some people put that in there. Your guys got to be ready for that 20 minutes, and I'd be ready to bet if you lose that bet. Definitely live. But if you're looking to cut this half and get the first 20 minutes. I think the defense, as the game goes on, only gets better, Max, with A&M though. I think that ratchets, they'll get the feel of Xavier, and it only gets better though as the game gets on.
I just refuse to I refuse to validate the statement that Washington State and Xavier are on the same level. I don't see that. I just see Xavier had a bad stretch. It fucked their season. It got their coach fired, and now they're ready to freaking go. They're playing for themselves. And anyone that wants to transfer out of the program is going to need a good resume to do so. Why not freaking perform nicely in the last game that people are going to remember? So,
real quick, what do you think about? Yeah, go ahead.
I just don't want to put Washington State and Xavier in the same category. I just refuse to do that.
Yeah, no problem. What do you think about the Sean Miller hire though, coming back, rehiring him?
I think it's awesome for recruiting, because who gives a shit if he's cheating and fucking paying players? Like, goddamn, how much money are they doing it?
Now he can get away with it more than
exactly. The Big East will protect him. They won't try and prosecute him.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously he's back. He's not coaching in this game, but yeah, JP's. I mentioned. Yeah, I mean, 2 of 14, and to win 72-6, that's pretty good by A&M the other night. And you got to think they shoot it better. And I think Xavier doesn't shoot as well as they did the other night. But we should see. It should be a good one. I can't wait. It's coming up pretty soon here, Max. Real quick, you just want to get into tomorrow? You want to touch on any of the Final Four games, or just talk about it tomorrow? Any news on anything you want to break down?
Well, listen, I'm wearing my LSU hat because Coach Matt McMahon, who's taken over for Will Wade, has already landed 2 pretty nice mid-major pieces on the transfer market in Justice Hill from his former team in Murray State, and then Kendall Coleman from Northwestern State, who is already in-state Louisiana player. I think that with LSU, though, we're getting away from what made LSU great, is being able to go out and grab a 5-star, a couple 4 stars. And I just don't think that exists right now with this recruiting philosophy from Coach McMahon. I think that the next guy who's going to end up in LSU jersey is going to be KJ Williams, who's on the transfer market.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, here, Cheshire Cat. Here's the deal. I'll tweet out my live play, but you probably won't get the line I'm going to get. That's just a fact. I mean, you can try to do it as close to time as it gets, but you know how it works, Max. It's not easy. I mean, you can do it as quick as you can, from making my bet to in and then trying to tweet it out right away. I mean, they could get close to it, I guess. So, yeah, I'll tweet it out if I do something live.
Easiest way to do it is on a timeout.
Yeah, I guess so. That makes it easier.
Getting the best number.
Yeah. So if I do it, I'll put it on Twitter if I make a move. No problem. I'm thinking lastly, though, here, Max. Obviously, we have no producer. So you guys know the commercials. Go to Manscaped, get all our good shit there. 20% off promo code Pub Sports, my bookie. Use the Bitcoin, transfer it over, put $1,000. They'll match it for you. And lastly, go to Southtown 101. I was just there. The food was fucking excellent, even though I didn't have the chicken tenders. I didn't see any honey mustard. But someone else did. I think they said they were good. They were hot, but they were good. The wings were good. I did have some wings. They were good at Southtown 101, but the burgers were good. So was the grilled chicken sandwich. So shout out to Southtown 101. Shout out to Slaughter. I know we're getting to the last days. I think there's only a couple guys straggling still there from Canada, Max. So
The
I think they're heading
Canadians are
back.
still down there.
Canadians want to stay there forever. They're like, man, I don't want to go back to the cold. They're like, shit.
Oh, it actually it wasn't very cold today, but it's gonna change. The weather's been like a temperamental woman. It freaking you never know what it's gonna throw at you.
Yeah. This guy in here, he likes Texas A&M team total over 71. I didn't see 71, but if you have 71, good for you. All right, Max, that is it. Shout out to everyone in the chat. Sam, I am with short shows. Tomorrow will be longer. We will go deep. We will go deep in the Final Four, and we will have Coastal Carolina, Fresno State tomorrow. So
Yeah, like why did they blue ball us on that? Like what? Because you couldn't get a flight from California to South Carolina? That's pathetic.
What the hell was I with that? I know. I was reading up on that. I'm like, what the hell?
It's like
Strange.
Who's running your goddamn travel arrangements? I'm ready to fucking sub myself in if you need it. Smuggle me
Max,
to California.
travel agent. Yeah.
It's called logistics.
Hell yeah. No shit. All right, Max, that is it. Shout out to everyone in joining us. I know the shows are short. That's just how it is. I know we'd have a lot more people in here. We just don't have a ton of games. So, but thanks for joining us for the one we have today. But all right, Max, let's get to it before we'll be back here tomorrow and get into full depth on those games. Tell me what you're on tonight I mean, there's not a lot to pick here from. So if you're on nothing, don't worry about it.
Yeah, no, I'm gonna be on stuff. I'm on Texas A and I'm on Xavier full game on the money line, and I'm gonna take the first half under 64.5. I do think that if we get the tempo and game that Texas A&M ideally is looking for, that we're gonna struggle to get over that 3 points per minute pace. And with Xavier, if they're not gonna be able to replicate that hot shooting, we have seen them really amp up their scoring production in the second half, so it's not something that I'll be really worried about.
Excellent. I like it, my guy. I've already played Jackson over 15 points at plus 110. I just don't know if I want to go Nunji 2 at 14 with both teams because I think Jackson gets it done. I think he's the best player on the court. He's got to be the guy. Championship game, I think he's the best player on the floor. So I'm going to take him. Like I said, I think Coleman at 11.5 could be a decent look. But if you like Xavier, I even could go this side because I think at 14, he's been consistently getting over that Nunji Max. So I'm really looking at it as well. But I'm definitely on Jackson over 15 points tonight, plus 110. Going a little prop action in this game. And if I get on I'm looking at A&M. Maybe if Xavier goes up. I just wanted to get maybe a little better number live than betting this pregame. So shout out to everyone in the chat. Go ahead, Max.
Sorry, yeah, plus 178 is the number I'm gonna freaking lay down with Xavier. So I just think that this is a fucking pretty sweat-free situation for them. Get your freaking 2-man game going, and you can freaking win this game.
For sure. Shout out to everyone. Thanks for joining us on this short one. I hope we gave you enough info. Break down this NIT game. We will see you tomorrow. MT13, G Martinez, Cheshire Cat, Eric, T-Mac, everybody in here, James Little, Marshall Hoffman, JPZ, Nilo. There he is. Salmon tonight, he says, all over Ontario. There you go. Nasty Nate, Trey. Shout out to all our guys. Paulie Walnuts, Bill McHugh, everybody, Okie, Preston, Rodney Varden. Shout out to all you guys. Hit the like button on the way out, and we will see you tomorrow. I can't wait to watch this NIT, and then we'll get to Final Four, Max. This is the end. I can't wait, brother. How you feeling?
I'm feeling frisky. I'm feeling empty, and I'm hungry.
This man's hungry. We got to get going. We'll see you tomorrow. He's the great Maxwell Smart. I'm Conor Mack. We're out of here. We be pumping! Peace!